Hello, welcome to Living with Cancer. Now today I'm going to do another part on the effects of chemotherapy. I did the first part to tell you what it entails, but today I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on how you feel and what you can do. So, now, I had my chemotherapy. I've divulged in this before. I'll just quickly go through it again. In 2013 I was diagnosed with 6 months left to live at best. Nothing they could do, blah 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 blah, fight, and I managed to get treated in the end. I went through 6 months of R-CHOP chemotherapy and it was the hardest thing in life, and I'm still here 5 years later, and I've got an incurable rare Hodgkin's lymphoma, so it's not one that that seems to be cured at the moment. Now let's get back into the effects of chemotherapy. Now, effects of chemotherapy are you go through your chemotherapy, you do your usual stuff. You go in, you have you have it administered. You go through, probably at the moment, I don't know, it depends on your cancer. I went through antibodies as well as chemotherapy. Now what the antibodies do, they cling onto your bad cells, and in fact when the chemotherapy is administered, it kills everything. So after the first one, really didn't feel very well. It wasn't nice, but it was okay. It was better than I thought it would be. People were telling me you're going to feel really, really ill and unwell. Actually, no, I did feel unwell. I felt more bunged up than anything, and going to the toilet. Going to the toilet is very bizarre. Only a few hours after, I mean, you'll be dashing to the toilet, and it's not a pretty sight. It does. The other end, it comes out rather differently, and people who are going through chemotherapy or going to have chemotherapy, you'll relate to this pretty quickly. Go into the toilet, the front end, or the middle end for the ladies. Sorry, for the front end, comes out a very different colour. There's a little bit of tingling going on. That's not bad, it's okay, because all you're doing is, what I did is, when I was having chemotherapy, I drank so much water, because what I learnt in life is, when I was a fighter and a boxer and a martial artist, I learnt in life is, when you get ill, drink as much water as you possibly can. And actually I used that during chemotherapy, so having a wee was flushing out all the bad stuff. And in fact, it was flushing out all the bad chemotherapy, the dead cells, all the rest of it. It comes out a funny colour as well. Now when you get home, the doctors say don't do a lot. Watch a bit of TV, eat what you want, do what you want, and just chill out. That's correct. That is correct. Do that. But for God's sake, what happens is you'll go and watch TV, and there'll be so many reminders on TV. Macmillan this, cancer that, charities supporting the world. I was very unfortunate. I was promised the earth by a couple of charities who turned out that they couldn't help. All they did is said, oh no, what we meant to say was, if you go to that office, they could give you some advice. Didn't work. Absolute rubbish. That's not said that they don't do a good job, so I can't disrespect them in that way. They just didn't help me. So I didn't really watch TV too much. I've watched a few action films, to be honest. Get your mind off it. So whatever your hobby is or what you do something like that to get your mind off it. Now you do get slower. So slower in the sense of, normally when you would get up and walk up the stairs to bed or something like that, it would take you a little bit more time, because physically you can't do it. If you can imagine you're like an 80 or a 90-year-old, you're moving and shuffling your feet. That's pretty much how you are. In the first one, you're not quite like that. The second one, you're still okay. You're a bit slow, but as it goes on and on and on, you just get slower and slower, and just feel old and unwell. Nausea and sickness, that comes on quite a lot. But what you'll do is, what I did is I changed my diet. So I pretty much went on a not too much of a high calorie diet, which is what was recommended. I did have a high calorie diet, but I also had quite a lot of protein. So I tried to eat a lot of eggs and a lot of stuff that they told you not to do. I didn't touch shellfish. I didn't touch them. Eggs, I did a bit of research. I did quite a lot of research because I used to eat a lot of eggs when I was in my fighting times. So actually you can only catch salmonella off eggs from the shell. You can't catch it from the egg itself unless you've left it open for forever. The egg itself, once you wash the shell, you know, you just got to be a lot more careful when you're having chemotherapy or when you're going through chemotherapy. You just got to be careful with your foods. So I was eating a lot more protein-based foods and a few more calories. I stayed away from sugar. Unnatural sugar I didn't have because I felt that because sugar feeds the cancer or feeds the tumour, it was downgrading my progress. So I did that, and it did slightly make me feel better. You will find that when you eat certain foods or when you do certain things, you'll probably find that you're feeling a little bit unwell. So what you'll do is just change what you're having or change what you're doing, or you know, even walking upstairs feeling well. If you've got a 2-story house or a 3-story house, you'll probably stay down like I did. I mean, I in the end I ended up sleeping on a fold-out bed in the end in the lounge because I just couldn't move very far, because that's the effects of chemotherapy. That's what it does to you, you know. And we've got to go through this to be able to get somewhere. You know, I've got where I am today. I've lived another 5 years. You know, if I can live another 10 years, it'd be amazing. I'm trying different things every single day, and a new thing I'm trying at the moment, in a couple of videos I'll probably let you all know, but it seems to be working, I think. I hope so. So anyway, we'll get into that at a later stage. So yeah, the effects of chemotherapy. So that's that bit, and then as you go on, what will happen is I mean, one of my last ones, I was ever so unwell. I'd had the chemotherapy, and the nurse looked at me and said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I think so." But me, big bad me, you know everything. I mean, look at me. I look where I am, for Christ's sake. The most stupidest person on the planet. Why on earth would I be stood on all this lot? It's took me 25 minutes to walk here along all these rocks. But big bad me, I wanted to just try and defeat it in some sort of way. So I said, yeah, I'm fine. Went outside and more or less collapsed on the floor because I was really unwell, very, very sick. And I went in and they had to sort me out and, you know, put me on a drip for a few hours again. Because that's what it does. It gradually breaks you down and gradually pulls you apart, and you're no longer the person that you were. You're somebody completely different. I was known as, you know, Jace, the loony, the one that, forgive me for saying, I was a bit of a handy lad. And people always say, big bad Jace this, and you've got that in your mind. You think, well, what's happening? But, it does break you down. It's just one of those things. The effects of chemotherapy, your eyes. You'll notice I wear glasses quite a lot now. I never used to wear glasses. I did have to wear glasses, but not all the time. Now my eyes have progressively got worse. That's the effects of chemotherapy. After you've finished chemotherapy, as you go on, a later stage, your toilet situation, very different to what it was before. For instance, I can't tell when I need to go to the toilet. You'll understand, people understand. When you go to the toilet, for instance, you'll feel the swelling in your bladder. You'll feel that you need to go. I don't feel that anymore, and that's the effects of chemotherapy. Wanting to go to the toilet the other way, I don't really feel that. What I do feel is a bad pain in my left hand side, and then I start thinking, oh sugar, that's my spleen again. And it's not, it's just the build up. And once I feel that, I know I need to go to the toilet. It sounds corny, it sounds disgusting, but that's the effects of chemotherapy. Stomach issues, I mean, I'm okay. I eat pretty much anything now. I will not drink. I don't drink alcohol at all. I haven't drunk alcohol for over 4 years. I don't have unnatural sugar. The only sugar I have is in fruit. Again, I'll dive into that when I tell you all about my diet and things. So the effects of chemotherapy, it does sort of break you down. It does change you into a different person, but actually you grow stronger and you get stronger. And if you've got that positive mental attitude, you will get stronger, because well, you've got no other option. You've got to. And with family around, you know, my family, my wife, my son, absolutely amazing. You know, I can't praise them enough. I don't praise them enough, to be honest. You know, and you'll see, and another video I'm going to do soon, you'll see the effects of chemotherapy, the effects of cancer, what you do to your family, or what you say to your family, or what you're like with your family, because you believe that they don't really understand. Actually they do, because they've been with you all the way through. I'll go through that at another time, but listen, that's the effects of chemotherapy in a nutshell, really. You know, all you've got to do is pretty much get your head around it and just change slightly. You will feel very unwell, and I can't stress that enough. You know, your hair will fall out. Mine did. My eyebrows fell out, my hair fell out. I had a beard like I've got now, and I wouldn't shave it, but it fell out. I didn't have a hair on my body. In some respects it was quite nice. It was, you know, I went to have a shower and there's nothing there. It's brilliant. You know, I felt like who have we got in the UK? Duncan Goodyear, famous swimmer back in the day. You're just very clean. Your hair does drop out, you know, and a lot of things, you know, your nails start getting a bit different and they go a bit warped and stuff like that. Actually, some people, their nails do fall out. Mine didn't, you know. My teeth went wobbly. You will find the effects of chemotherapy. You will have a mouthful of ulcers like you've never had before. That's just life. You do struggle to eat. Again, what you do is you change what you eat and how you eat. So I was having more sort of soupy foods and things like that, and that's just what I did. You just got to change the way you are and what you do. Have a look at this. I'm filming in the middle of nowhere, right? Have a look at that, and there pops up I don't know what he's doing. Hola, buenos días. ¿Qué busca? And he's obviously searching for, I don't know what he's searching for. Genius. I didn't think anybody would be around. Brilliant. That's what life is all about. So that's the effects of chemotherapy in a nutshell. What you've got to do, you've got to try and make it something different. You've got to try and turn that horrible effects of chemotherapy into something more positive. And that's what it's all about. Now listen, I've gone on far too long yet again. I hope it's cleared up a few things. I'm sure there's probably a lot more. Please do comment. I need some comments. Do like, do subscribe. Please share it. Anybody you know that might be looking in towards this, share it with them. Let them know, because I'd be more than willing to liaise with them, even in private emails or whatever. I'll tell them anything, because that's the sort of person I am. Oh, we've got the lifeguard now. So listen, like, comment and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye now.